Hey guys, and welcome to a brand new video. And in this video, it's going to be my Game Week 26 predictions of the Premier League. Let's get started with the first game, which is Manchester City versus Newcastle. Newcastle just coming off the back of a loss in the Carabao Cup final. Man City still in a title race. And I think Man City, this is going to be a big game for them. If Newcastle were playing at home, I would have given them a massive chance to get at least a point. They did last time they played. It ended 3-3 in a game where Newcastle actually went 3-1 up and then conceded 2 goals. It was a good game and ended 3-3, but this time I think Man City will have too much for Newcastle, and I'm going to say it's going to end 3-1. I'll say it's going to end 3-1 because I think Newcastle will score, but Man City will have too much for them. The next game of the week is Arsenal versus Bournemouth. And for me, this is easy. Firstly, Arsenal in this massive title charge, top of the league by 5 points, and it just looks like they're going to continue that and keep their lead by 5 points. And it's against a team like Bournemouth who haven't had a really good season. They've had a poor season. And going off the results and going off the way the teams have played this season, it should be a comfortable Arsenal win. I'm going to go 3-0 Arsenal. I think they'll score 3 and they'll keep a clean sheet and they'll win this game and continue their title charge by being 5 points ahead. Next game is Aston Villa versus Crystal Palace. Now, in this game, this could be go any way. Two mid-table teams, two teams that are always around mid-table, really. They're always around the same positions, close to mid-table, that area. They're similar teams, I think, in like the way they play every single season. But going into this game, it's really hard to choose. I think this game's going to end in a 1-1 draw. I think it'll be a draw for both teams. Both teams are decent teams, mid-table competitive Premier League teams, and I think it'll be a draw 1-1. Next game, we've got Brighton versus West Ham. Brighton are having a great season at the moment, still fighting for a European football place in the Europa League, but I think they might just slip into the conference by the end of the season. I don't know if it's the seventh that the conference is in. Is the conference seventh? I don't know. I think it is. I think it's seventh place to get the conference. But yeah, Brighton are flying high. Meanwhile, West Ham are down in a relegation battle still. They're still down there. They can still get relegated. And going into this game, I think it will be a Brighton win. I think Brighton are going to win this game. But it's going to be close. I think it's going to be a 2-1 Brighton win I'll go with. The next game in this game week is Wolves versus Spurs. Spurs are the better team performing this season and, a better team overall, but the quality they've got. But just coming off the back of a loss to Sheffield United in the FA Cup, anything's possible. But yeah, I think that's just a cup slip up. Everyone does that. There's always the big teams that get knocked down the cup in like a shock. There's always a shock in the FA Cup, and that was their shock, getting knocked out by Sheffield United. Wolves this season haven't been good. I don't think they'll win this game, and I think it's going to be a comfortable Spurs win. I'm going to go with a 2-0. I think it'll be a 2-0 Spurs win in this game. It'll be a nice, comfortable win for Spurs. And I think they'll continue their push for top 4 and trying to get into the Champions League because that's what they're fighting for at the moment. The next game is Southampton versus Leicester. Two teams right at the bottom of the league. We have Southampton who are right dead bottom and Leicester who are in that relegation zone, in that relegation battle. That it's so close. Actually, no, Leicester are mid-table, aren't they? Sorry, guys. Leicester are pulled up and pulled out a bit. I forgot where they were. I forgot they had a great run. They're now 14th in the league on 24 points. That's only 3 points above the relegation zone because the relegation zone this season is so close. So they're still in that relegation battle, but I think they'll have too much for Southampton. Southampton will be so poor this season. They've been terrible, and I think they'll lose again. And I'm going to go with a Leicester 1-0. I think it's not going to be a pretty game. I think it's going to be just a smash and grab or like a little goal, where it's going to be like a lucky goal that, you don't expect to go in and then all of a sudden it hits the back of the net. And yeah, it'll be 1-0 Leicester, I think. Next up is Nottingham Forest versus Everton. Of course, Forest are in 13th on 25 points, only 4 points above the relegation zone, so they're still in this relegation battle if they lose a couple of games, coming against an Everton team that are in the relegation zone, but it's that close that it can go anyway. This game's massive for both teams. If Forest win, they push even further away from the relegation zone, and that's really big for them, and that might be, honestly, what saves them. It wouldn't be over yet, but that could be what pushes them to safety, basically. Forest are at home, and Forest have had their home ground has actually been a fortress this season. They've been pretty good at their home ground. It's like both teams. Both teams are if it was Everton were at home, I'd back Everton, but Forest are at home, so I'm going to back Forest. I'm going to say Forest are going to win 2-1. I think it'll be a close game. but Forest were able to do the job and win 1-0, 2-1. Sorry. Next up's a big game. It's Liverpool versus Man United. Man United off the back of going into the next round after beating West Ham in the FA Cup. Liverpool have just won their last game. They just won 2-0 against Wolves, scoring pretty late on, I think it was, with a Van Dijk header and a Salah goal. And I think in this game, Liverpool at home, Man United have been the better team, but I felt this could be a shock because I think Liverpool are starting to get a run of form to push for the top four, and that's what's going to happen. I think Liverpool are going to win this game, but it's going to be on the slightest of margins. It's going to be a 1-0 Liverpool win in this game. And the last game of the game week is two teams that, you could say are pushing above where you think they would be. Brentford and Fulham. Fulham especially after, they knocked us out. They knocked us out the FA Cup. We won't get into that because the refereeing was terrible, and the first goal that we scored should have counted. But Brentford and Fulham, two big teams, the two strikers going up against each other in Ivan Toney. I think he's still out of play. I don't know if he's allowed to play because the whole betting thing, he pleaded guilty. I don't know if he's out for them. I think he can play, right? I don't know. I think he can play though. But anyway, if it doesn't matter. It's Ivan Toney versus Mitrovic. Fulham are flying high, looking for a Europa League spot, which I think they could get pretty much. I think they could get a European spot in the Europa League. And I think Fulham have been just flying this season. I think they'll continue that. I'm going to go with a narrow 1-0 win to Fulham. If you like the video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know in the comment section down below what you think what your predictions are for the matches, and I'll catch you in the next time. Peace!